Before the video starts, please subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell so you don't miss any of these videos. I would come to your house personally, but social distancing and all, plus it would be a little creepy.
Do I even need to state the fact Americans are choosing SUVs and crossovers over sedans these days? Best estimate is only 10% of them see any kind of off-roading, so feel free to roll your eyes when gazing upon mall and grocery store parking lots full of them. Renegade is Jeep's smallest offering, and some question if it has the right to sport 7 slots here. It's an inch or so longer than a Kia Soul. Both share a boxy silhouette, but their missions are different. The Kia is strictly front-wheel drive, this is a Trailhawk model, and 4-wheel drive is standard. Jeep claims 26% of Renegades hit the trails, so it certainly beats the average, and the brand doesn't hand these badges out for fashion's sake.
There are an awful lot of compact crossovers these days. Seltos, CX-30, Crosstrek, Kona, HR-V, 500X that this shares an architecture with. But when the going gets rough, you're gonna want the Trailhawk version of the Renegade because arguably it has the best off-road chops.
Driven at Mudfest, which is an SUV of the Year event held by the Northwest Automotive Press Association, Renegade Trailhawk was the only crossover allowed on the more severe course alongside Toyota 4Runner and Jeep Gladiator. It also had the brightest paint job, but I digress. Trailhawk's active drive low 4-wheel drive system is unique in the Renegade lineup with a low crawl ratio and rock mode. Trailhawk also gets underbody plates, its ground clearance rises to 8.7 inches, plus its approach and departure angles improve slightly. Tow hooks too, gotta love the red. I've driven Renegade through nearly 2 feet of water, plus up and down terrain so steep it was hard to cover on foot. For intense boulder hopping, yeah, a Wrangler is better. Buy the tool you need. Renegade can be had with 2 engines, but the 2.4-liter naturally aspirated Tiger Shark inline 4-cylinder is not offered in limited, high-altitude, and Trailhawk models. Those 3 motor exclusively with this 1.3-liter turbocharged inline 4 that pumps out 177 horsepower and 210 pound-feet of torque to move its 3,300 pounds of steel, glass, plastic, and rubber. Add 30 pounds if it gets muddy. A reminder that some Renegades can be had with front-wheel drive. There is no manual transmission offered, only a 9-speed automatic with manual shifting on the console. These are sound system controls.
The turbo in the Trailhawk is the quicker of the 2 engines. It'll do the 0 to 60 dash about a half a second quicker than the normally aspirated 4-cylinder. But still, this is not a fast vehicle. It'll hit 60 in about 9 seconds, and that's okay. You knew you weren't buying a Porsche, you're buying a Jeep. But one thing, the engine has a very coarse, gruff sound to it. Let's see if my mic can pick it up. See? Not exactly musical.
This is a buzzy, unrefined sound when driving in the city, and let's face it, that's where most miles accumulate. It will be heard a lot. Renegade's small size will get you into parking spots other sport utes surrender, so it's an urban warrior in that regard.
Renegade has a short wheelbase, and this is a Jeep. It's meant to go off-road, so don't be expecting a cushy ride. It's kind of choppy.
There's the expected amount of roll in cornering. The suspension soaks up big bumps like a sponge, so that's a plus. When Selectrain is in auto mode, the drivetrain defaults to front-wheel drive for better fuel economy, engaging the rear wheels only when it detects slip. There's an automatic engine start-stop system. That's not half bad. Like most modern systems, it can easily be turned off. Good for off-roading. On acceleration, the gearbox rapidly moves through the first 4 or 5 ratios.
There's been a lot of chatter about the way FCA tunes its 9-speed transmission. I am certainly aware of that, but I've been driving this one for 4 days now. Haven't experienced anything but pretty smooth shifting. And at least it's not a continuously variable unit.
Personally, I prefer the Jeep's transmission dynamic to the CVT in Crosstrek, which can handle some off-road situations as well. You'll be test driving a lot of vehicles, right? Find out what works for you.
Renegade is boxy like the Kia Soul, and it has big windows, but the A and D pillars are really big, so are the mirrors, so visibility can be a bit of a mixed bag.
This one has an optional package with blind spot warning and cross path detection. It's worth the $645. You'll spend more on gas. The EPA rated average of 24 miles per gallon is 6 less than Crosstrek and a few less than Seltos and CX-30.
If fuel economy is very important to you, Jeep has shown off a plug-in hybrid powertrain for the Renegade, so stay tuned for that.
Theoretically, it might help with the engine sound as well. I'd understand if buyers went for the Trailhawk model just to get the interior treatment. The faux anodized trim extended to the center console adds pop to this dark black space. Things feel particularly beefy and solid in here. There are the expected storage cubbies, but this being the smallest Jeep, they're all reduced in size. Door pockets are good for a swell bottle, and that's about it. The $1,700 leather seat package offers more than just cowhide to the firm chairs. It adds power control to the driver's side, plus warmth to both front buckets and steering wheel. It adds a ski pass-through to the cargo hold, too. There's a $1,600 glass panoramic sunroof option with fixed rear section. For the same price, this My Sky roof lets you remove both panels, even the powered ones, so you can see the forest and the trees.
I love sunroofs. I like this feature, would love to show you how to take the panels off, but there is a special key that goes in here, and I've torn the car apart and I can't find it anywhere. Special thanks to the person that took them off last.
FCA has one of the best touchscreen interfaces in the biz. This latest version of Uconnect continues to be fall on your face easy. It's simple to decipher without cracking the user manual, and for men, that's important. Response is sure and snappy. This here is the upgraded system with a larger 8.4-inch screen and navigation, but you may not need that since Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are standard on all but the 2 lowest models.
Our friend Fred, who cuts our hair, isn't doing that these days because of, well, social distancing. Looking kind of shaggy there. Okay, you're the evil twin. Don't be the chatty one. Let's hear about the back seat. Is it any wonder he likes me better? Yes, the back seat of the Renegade. Headroom is good. Foot and leg room, decent. I would say that the cushion is a little bit on the low side, so thigh support could be better and maybe kind of short.
Side pockets are only good for a water bottle or hand sanitizer. I made my own. Helpful that Jeep pointed this out. 2 pockets? Think how many Cliff Bars could be stashed in them. There's power to the people. I could inflate an aero bed for the tent. No roughing it. The drive shaft tunnel doesn't crowd hiking boots, but this being a smaller rig, campers will be happiest with 2 adults back here, though there are belts for 3. Since my brother didn't point it out, hey, I was getting to it. There are the usual Easter eggs happening in the Renegade. Jeep is very good about that, right down to the topo map on the bag for the owner's manual. I know it's in there because I took the roof key out of it. Oh, okay, you're the one.
If you're new to these videos, this is normally the point in the review where I'm at Costco filling the back end full of TP. Those bundles are about the size of a carry-on suitcase, so it's a good measurement metric. However, these days, trying to stay away from people, so I thought it only appropriate to test the Jeep's trunk with camping gear.
This isn't a huge cargo hold, 18.5 cubic feet, but it's large enough to stash nearly everything needed for a weekend in the wilderness if you're a couple. Chairs, food, a stove, a tent large enough to social distance in, cooking gear, sleeping bag, and clothes. Missing a second sleeping bag, just like my trip to Yellowstone a few years back, nearly froze to death. Drop the backs for nearly 51 cubic feet of space. The load floor is not completely flat, but close. And for hauling long stuff, there's that optional pass-through, great for skiers and snowboarders. Bag holders, storage cubbies, and tie-downs are all built in. Not much room for storage under here, but the spare is essential for heading into remote territory. A front-wheel drive Renegade starts at $23,770. That's before any incentives, but includes the $1,500 delivery charge, higher than usual since Renegade gets its passport stamped in Italy. The sweet spot seems to be a moderately equipped 4x4 Latitude model that retails for around $30,000. This well-equipped Trailhawk stickers for $37,000 with a $195 upcharge for the Sting Gray paint, again before any incentives. The optional $1,300 advanced technology package that includes adaptive cruise, automatic emergency braking, and automated park assist is not available on all models, including Trailhawk. So choose carefully among the 8 different models to make sure you get what you want. The chunky Renegade looks like a piece of REI gear, so even if owners only navigate rough alleyways to start their commute, it'll remind them to cash in vacation days to get it out for some fun. For people that want to excel at social distancing, Renegade Trailhawk will take you past the mall and deep into the wilderness. Renegade isn't for everyone, but it has the Jeep image that people love. I get that. Looking up Renegade at Consumer Reports, which I use as a guide, not a Bible, finds the organization isn't overly impressed. It gets knocked for ride quality, overall reliability, and the climate system. Since 2015, the minor transmission issues have improved from red to dark green, so maybe those rough shifts have been taken care of. As always, do your research before buying and test drive, test drive, test drive. A note about pricing that applies to any of my reviews. I don't get into it much, especially incentives and such. You might be watching this a year from the day I posted this review, and they always change. As I write this, a quick check at Cars.com finds I can easily get a Trailhawk discounted by $3,000. One dealer has lopped $4,700 off the sticker price. Finally, we're serious about staying away from each other in Seattle, so no Martin Campbell driving. Pressed into service is the lovely and charming Mariko Kakiuchi, my wife.
Thanks, sweetie.
Not a car person, not a camera lover, she's a great sport. We should take the Jeep up to Snoqualmie Pass and do some hiking. She does like that.
Hope you got something out of my look at the 2020 Jeep Renegade Trailhawk. What better way to practice social distancing than to head off into the wilderness in a Jeep, huh? A reminder, please click subscribe and then notifications so you don't miss any of these videos, okay? Thanks. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.